Hi everyone, Giuliano here. In this video I will provide you tips and tricks how you can contain and reduce storage costs in SharePoint. In SharePoint you have a mechanism called versioning, and this helps user to have multiple versions of the same file. This means that every time that you make a change on a file, this could be a PowerPoint, an Excel, on a Word document, this generates a new version in SharePoint of the file. This because you can make some mistake with the latest changes, and in this way you are able to review and eventually restore a previous version of this file. Alright, let me drive you how you can reduce and play and manage with this feature in order to reduce costs in SharePoint. Let's go! Here I am in the official Microsoft documentation about versioning in SharePoint. You can find this link in the description of my video. So scrolling down in this page, I would like to focus on several important aspects to clarify about this topic. The first one is the ability, of course, to disable versioning, which is turned on by default for every site collections in SharePoint. This means that by default you have this mechanism turned on, and you have up to 500 as a number which identify the major version possible that you can have for a file. You can play with this number, I'll show you in a bit. So if I scroll a bit down, we have a very important paragraph, which is this one. So this one makes clear how versionings work in SharePoint. So all versions count against SharePoint storage usage, as do files in the recycle bin and file preserver due to retention policies. In calculating the SharePoint storage usage, the full file size of each version counts towards the total usage. For example, if only metadata changes were made to a 10 mega file with no change to its file size, the total storage usage will be 10 mega original version plus 10 mega updated version equal you are going to have 20 mega, and this is how versioning works. It's a very great feature because, as I said in the intro, it makes easier restore previous version of a file. However, there is a huge side effect. It takes a lot of space in your SharePoint storage, and this is something that you have to take care and manage periodically if you want to take care of your storage costs in SharePoint. Alright, now how we can take care of this aspect in SharePoint. So we have several aspects that I mentioned in this PowerPoint slide just to make clear this topic. So this is your versioning strategy. So first of all, you have a common approach that works in every case, and this is something that you should do immediately when you work with SharePoint Online. Set the right default number for measure versions. As I mentioned, by default is 500 for every document library, but you can change this and you can reduce this number, which is a good approach. 500 versions, it's a huge number for a file. It's very difficult to think about that you really need 500 version of a file. So then reduce this number if you can, because this is a nice approach. Then we are going to follow two strategies. So you have the first one, which is called SharePoint retention policies. So you can apply a lifecycle management for every file that you have in SharePoint, and this is an important thing to do. I will not cover how to create retention policies in SharePoint in this video, but I'm going to make a separate video. The second approach, and this is what I'm going to cover in this video, is trimming file versions. It means that if you have 50 versions of a file in a document library, so you can reduce this number by running a PowerShell script. You need admin rights to do that, but you can change this number manually if you want as well. Alright, we have now an example here, for example, giving 50 as a version of a file. You can trim this down to 5, for example. So you're going to keep just the latest 5 version of your file. All right, now let me jump immediately on my demo environment because... All right, here I am now on my SharePoint side, and this is an example of what I have done. So as you can see, I have in this document library where I have videos, and this is a very good example how you can save a lot of space because videos takes many space on your storage. And here, as you can see, I have just the version 4 because I trimmed the previous version and I just kept one version, which is the latest one. So I have 60 mega, and so I saved a lot of space in this case. And I have many other videos here. So I applied the same approach to every video by saving space. Now, how I can control this number in the versioning? So all you need to do is jump in a document library, and then you will find on the wheel icon the link library settings. If you jump on it, there is another link in this panel, more library settings, and this is where you have to click on. And finally, you will find here on the left a second link which identifies the versioning settings. Clicking on it, you can adjust some setting like this one for versioning. You can create measure versions. You can even turn on measure and minor. So it means that if you check out a file, you are going to generate a minor version. So you are going to have, for example, 1.1, and then if you check in, you are going to confirm this number for the version, or you can play just with the measure numbers. So you are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And finally, the last important thing that I mentioned before is the default number of measure versions. By default is 500. You can reduce this number, and this is really a good approach. All right, this is what you can do to play and with the UI in order to take care of the versioning. And of course, you have to do this for every site collection in SharePoint, which is not really practical. So what helps us is an important aspect. It is a script, a PowerShell script that you can run. You can find 2 helpful PowerShell scripts in the PMP community initiative. I will add these 2 links in the description of this video, don't worry. This is the first script that I want to highlight in the topic of trimming file versions in SharePoint. This one generates a report and hypothetically brings you 2 columns, the total file size and the total file size if you trim these file versions. So in this script, we can see several information. We have a loop basically to collect all document library of a SharePoint site, and then the report will be generated for you. You have to set the number of version that you want to apply. For example, you have reduced number of version to 1 in this case, in this variable. And so you're going to have a report that highlights how many space you are going to save, keeping just 1 version of every file in the document library. This is one script that makes you easier analyzing a document library. And the second one, this is what the magic is contained, is the file version trimmer. In this one, you have to set some variables properly in order to get access to your environment. And here, if I scroll at the bottom of this script, there are important information like, for example, the version to keep. So here is the important property that you have to take care, and here you can set how many versions you want to keep for your document library. This part is commented, and this is important if you want to apply this change to all of your site collections in SharePoint. But you can do this on a specific site collection if you want. Alright, that's it. This is what you need to do. You have to run this to script. I already done this in my environment as we have seen before. And now let me show you what I have in the versioning here in the version trimmer. In this folder, I have some CSV file generated by this script. And here, as you can see, after running the script, I have several information in the root site collection. There are several videos. I targeted the videos document library, and here in the last two columns I can see how many space I saved. For example, I had a total size of 180 and I have now a file, the file is reduced to 60. The same thing here, I have a lot of space saved for this video, just having 741 mega, and so on. This is very important to know how you can save your storage in SharePoint. Last thing to call out is an important requirement. In order to be able to run your PowerShell script, you have to grant access for SharePoint app only. And to do that, you can follow this documentation which explain you step by step how you can set up such permission. Once you have done that, you are able to run your PowerShell script. You will find this link in the description of my video. Alright, we have seen how to save storage costs in SharePoint. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to subscribe, like, add a comment down below, let me know what do you think about this video. Alright, I hope to see you next time.